Hi friends, welcome to Easy Way. So welcome to this particular lecture wherein we're going to have a detailed discussion regarding reading comprehension. So friends, this is the third lecture. We have already discussed two lectures previously on reading comprehension. So first I would prefer you to go back to those two lectures, have an understanding and then come back to this particular lecture. So friends, now why are we doing this? Let me just tell you, when you talk about CLAT examination, for example, English comes worth of 40 marks in total, right? So out of that, reading comprehension forms a very important part, okay? And if you analyze the previous year question papers, you would see that usually this is asked in the examination and nearly some 5 to 10 marks are for reading comprehension, right? So automatically friends, we can understand how important this component can be for us, okay? So previously when we were having a discussion, lecture 1, lecture 2, in lecture 1 what we did was we discussed the reading comprehension that was asked in CLAT 2018 examination, right? And that was on Internet of Things, and we saw that I would rate that passage to be medium in the difficulty level, and we saw how to solve it, okay? The next lecture we saw the exact reading comprehension that was asked in the year 2017, okay? And I would say that that particular reading comprehension was actually tough, okay? And I would say that we hardly were able to come to an understanding that we can score 3 marks there, okay, out of 5 to 6 questions that were there. So friends, let me just tell you that I have spoken to a couple of students and I have got this feedback that some students without even having a look at the paragraph leave reading comprehension thinking that it is going to be too long. So let me tell you friends, it is very important for you to first have a look at the reading comprehension and then decide whether to attempt it or not. And I would in fact say that you should at least try and spend some 3 to 4 minutes on it, and you will see that you will at least be able to solve 3 to 4 questions, okay, if it is a medium passage. And if it is an easy one, you will be able to solve all the questions. If it is a tough one, then we can go ahead and solve 2 to 3 questions at least, okay? So you can actually score marks through reading comprehension. Now this reading comprehension that we are going to discuss is was asked in the year 2016 CLAT examination, okay? So as usual, if you have been following a series, you should immediately understand what is the first step. So try and comprehend on which particular topic is this paragraph given, okay? So as I told you, sometimes you will be able to immediately find out on which topic is this paragraph, but in some cases you will not be able to, okay? So instance, if you just read this paragraph 1, which says, often we passionately pursue matters that in the future appear to be contradictory to our real intention or nature, and triumph is followed by remorse or regret. So friends, here I can see that I'm not able to immediately judge or pick up on a particular topic, okay? So I cannot say that this particular passage is on this particular topic, okay? So forget this particular stage, go back to the questions. So we have been discussing the next immediate steps that you need to take is to go to the questions. So let us quickly go to the questions, have a look at the important keywords, and remember that for us to so that it becomes easier for us to go through the paragraph. So friends, the first question here says the Manhattan Project was initiated. So friends, what is the keyword that you need to look for? Manhattan Project. Really sorry for this. Okay. So Manhattan Project, okay? So wherever we are going to read, we are going to keep this keyword in mind, okay? Next, if you see, Alfred established the Nobel Prizes too. So here we are finding out the reason why Alfred established Nobel Prizes. So when we are reading the paragraph, we will definitely have a look at this particular point. Coming to question number 3, friends, in paragraph 4, the word accomplished means. So we need to look out for this word which is called accomplished. Right, very simple. Next, in the 5th paragraph, the word endorsement means. So we need to look out for this word endorsement, right? Then moving forward, working with arms and ammunition helped Alfred to amass what? Okay, so that means Alfred was working with arms and ammunition. This is an idea that we get. It helped Alfred to amass what? Okay, so these are some of the questions. Moving ahead to the 6th one, Emmanuel's interest in dynamites influenced Alfred's inclination for working. Okay, so something about dynamites here. Okay, so we can see that a particular person is working on dynamites or interest in dynamites, and that has influenced Alfred's inclination for working. Okay, so here somewhere wherever you see the word dynamite, you need to be a little cautious. Okay, one of the paradoxes in Alfred's life life was that he was. So keep in mind this paradox word, friends. So wherever we are going to encounter this, we will go a bit slow. Okay. Moving to the 8th question, friends. Einstein had the impression that the Germans would. Okay, so we are talking about Germans. So whenever we're going to have a look at this paragraph, we will go slow. So the passage is, okay, so this can be answered only once we are done with the entire passage. Okay, next one, the paradox, it's certain that nothing is certain in life, indicates the writers. So this is something of, this question is something like inferring something after reading the passage. So the question number 9 and 10 can be answered only once we are through the passage completely, but others we can just keep these words in mind. So what are the words we're going to look out for? So we're going to have an understanding regarding Manhattan Project. Wherever we see that, we're going to slow down. Then Alfred established the Nobel Prize, the reason. So the word accomplished, the word endorsement, okay, and working with arms and ammunition helped Alfred to amass what? And Emmanuel's interest in dynamite, so somewhat related to dynamites, okay, and then paradox, okay. Fine. So these are some of the words, and yes, impression that the Germans would. Okay, so now let us move to the paragraph, and we need to consciously look out for things. Okay, now moving to the first para, often we passionately pursue matters that in the future appear to be contradictory to our real intention or nature, and triumph is followed by remorse or regret. There are numerous examples of such a trend in annals of history and contemporary life. So friends, with this paragraph, you can understand that we are going to take some examples from history, okay, and we're going to discuss some of the situations wherein we see that we start something with a positive attitude, or we start something with a very pure intention, but we end up doing something else. Okay, so there is certain unpredictability that is attached to this particular paragraph. Okay, now let us move on to paragraph number 2. So we are talking here about Alfred Nobel. Okay, so he was a son of Emmanuel Nobel, an inventor who experimented extensively with explosives. Alfred too carried out research and experiments with a large range of chemicals. He found new methods to blast rocks for the construction of roads and bridges. He was engaged in the development of technology and different weapons. His life revolved around rockets and cannons and gunpowder. The ingenuity of the scientist brought him enough wealth to buy Bofors armament plant in Sweden. Okay, so something about wealth is spoken about here. That means the amount of intelligence that the person had. We are talking about Alfred Nobel. Okay, it actually made him capable enough to buy the Bofors armament plant in Sweden. Okay, something about wealth here. So we will not try and answer the questions here. We need to go ahead with the paragraph. Next paragraph says, paradoxically, Nobel's life was a busy one, yet he was lonely. Now friends, remember we had encountered one word which is called paradox in the questions below. Okay, so let us see if we can solve that particular question. So it says, paradoxically, Nobel's life was a busy one, yet he was lonely. Okay, so friends, first you need to understand, when I say paradox is something which is contradictory. Okay, so in a statement you will find that when you read the entire statement, that statement is self-contradictory, but as a whole it gives you a complete meaning. Okay, so we can see some of the examples, like here you're saying that Nobel's life was a busy one, okay, but yet he was lonely. So here is the statement itself is contradictory. Okay, you can call it self-contradictory. Okay, now let us move on to the question where this paradox term was there. Okay, so yes, you can see the 7th one out here, friends. So it says, one of the paradoxes in Alfred's life was that he was what? Okay, so here you need to have a look at the options. One was lonely yet rich, hardworking but a failure, intelligent yet lonely, occupied yet lonely. So we already saw that it was clearly mentioned that he was busy, he was occupied, but still he was lonely. Okay, now friends, why is this a paradox? If a person is occupied, how can that person be lonely? Okay, but here it is a paradox. You need to understand that a person can be busy in work. Okay, that person might be doing something all the time, but that doesn't mean that that person is not experiencing loneliness. Loneliness is something which you feel from within. Okay, so when you read this statement together, obviously you will infer a meaning out of it. Okay, so this is our question number 7 is solved out here. Okay, moving on to the next particular paragraphs. Okay, fine. Yes. So as he grew older, he began suffering from guilt of having invented the dynamite that was being used for destructive purposes. Okay, so we can see that he was the one who invented dynamite, which ultimately led to the use in destructive way. Okay, but that was not his intention actually. You can see here in the previous paragraph that he was engaged in the development of certain technologies, and he experimented with a large range of chemicals that would help him in to blast rocks for the construction of roads and bridges. So something for a positive attitude or a positive welfare measures he was doing. Okay, but ultimately what it led to destructive measures. Okay, so he set aside a huge part of his wealth to institute Nobel prizes. So you can see here, friends, that this paragraph says that he began suffering from guilt because he invented dynamite, which was ultimately being used for destructive purpose. So he set aside a huge part of his wealth to institute Nobel prizes. So now we have, if you remember the questions, if you had spent some good time on those questions, when I say good time, I mean good concentration, not the amount of time. So we can see here that the second question says Alfred established the Nobel Prize to dash. Okay, so remind people of his achievements? No. Ease his guilt and promote the work for the betterment of mankind. We just now saw the use of the word guilt. Okay, so obviously he was guilty that his invention is being used for destructive purpose. So whatever wealth that he gained out of those inventions, he tried to promote work for the betterment of mankind by using those. Okay, so use his wealth for hardworking people. Honor only those people who are intelligent. So this is outrightly wrong, friends, the fourth one. But if you see the second and third one, it is obviously using the wealth for hardworking people. But the second one is a complete answer. So the main reason behind is his guilt. Okay, and because of this guilt, he found ways to actually help people so that he can ultimately help mankind. Okay, so the second option is correct, friends. So we have solved two questions. Okay, now moving back, friends, right. Okay, so now paragraph 4, it is strange that the very man whose name was closely connected with explosive and inventions that helped in waging wars willed a large part of his earnings for the people who work for the promotion of peace and the benefit of mankind. The Nobel Peace Prize is intended for a person who has accomplished the best work for fraternity among nations, for abolition or reduction of war, and for promotion of peace. So here you can see that there was a question which spoke about this word accomplished. Okay, so now you can again read the sentence quickly. So the Nobel Peace Prize is intended for a person who has accomplished the best work. Okay, now let us see the options there. One says completed successfully, one is worked hard, one is won awards, made an effort to do something. So won awards is outrightly no. Okay, accomplished something. Okay, so here you can go and have a look. Accomplished the best work. So obviously it has to be completed successfully. Okay, when you cannot infer the meaning, just write that sentence here and put a blank there. Okay, let me just give you an example so that you understand. So here what it is, accomplished the best work. Okay, so let us write down here. Okay, so these are some of the ways that I am teaching you. It might take us some time to discuss this particular passage, but obviously in the exam it is not going to. Okay, accomplished the best work, right? This is what is the statement given there. Okay, now just substitute this accomplished with the options. Okay, so worked hard the best work, no. Won awards the best work, no. Made an effort to do something, the best work, no. Completed successfully the best work, yes. So this is very close. It actually gives us a useful or a meaningful sentence, right? So obviously the third option, the third question is solved. Okay, now let us move back, friends. Go back to passage number 5. So it says another example that comes to one's mind is that of Albert Einstein. Okay, so we are done with the Alfred Nobel. Now we have come to Albert Einstein. So in 1939, fearing that the Nazis would win the race to build the world's first atomic bomb. Okay, so when we are talking about Nazis, we are talking about Germans. Okay, out here. So he had a fear that Nazis would win the race to build the world's first atomic bomb. Einstein urged President Franklin D. Roosevelt to launch an American program on nuclear research. The matter was considered and a project called the Manhattan Project was initiated. So friends, remember we saw a question which had Manhattan Project. So just see this project. So what was this? A project on nuclear research. It's an American program. Now let us see whether we can solve that question. So the first question says the Manhattan Project was initiated, first one, in honor of Einstein, no. To protect the Nazis, no. Because Einstein feared that Nazis would be able to launch the first atomic bomb, this particular project was initiated. So automatically this is ruled out. To bomb Hiroshima, no. Till now we haven't read the statement. To carry out nuclear research, yes friends, so this is right. Okay, so we can actually see that we have seen this very clearly. Okay, that it was an American program on nuclear research. Okay, the project involved intense nuclear research, the construction of the world's first atomic bomb. All this while, Einstein had the impression that the bomb would be used to protect the world from the Nazis. But in 1945, when Hiroshima was bombed to end World War II, Einstein was deeply grieved and regretted his endorsement of the need for nuclear research. So he regretted something. What it is? It is his endorsement of the need for nuclear research. Now friends, endorsement means you are promoting something. Okay, you are in favor of something. Okay, so that is the meaning of endorsement. So let us see, we have already seen a question that says endorsement. So in the fifth paragraph, the word endorsement means what? So first one, expressing one's opposition, no, this is actually opposite to what endorsement means. Okay, then next one friends, expressing one's approval or support. Yes, this is correct friends. Let us anyway have a look at the other options. Making a promise to do something, no. Expressing one's regret, no. Again, this is opposite to what it is. Okay, so friends, now it is the second option is correct. So we have already done our fourth question. Okay, so now if you see, we are done with the first one, we are done with the second, we are done with third, fourth. Okay, yes, so let's move back to the paragraph friends. Okay, so he also stated that he had known that the Germans would be unsuccessful in making the atomic bomb. He would have probably never recommended making one. So if he had known that Nazis would not be able to launch an atomic bomb, then obviously he would not have recommended to carry out this nuclear research project. Okay, so in 1947, Einstein began working for the cause of disarmament, but Einstein's name still continues to be linked with the bomb. Man's fluctuating thoughts, changing opinions, varying opportunities keep the mind in a state of flux. Hence the paradox of life. It's certain that nothing is certain in life. So friends, if you see, this particular sentence is also asked as a question. Okay, so if you go towards yes, okay, this is done. Okay, so okay, we can also see the eighth question and then we will see that one. Einstein had the impression that the Germans would what? Okay, so when we were initially having a look at this para, we would be able to solve this particular question. Here it is. Yeah, so Nazis would win the race to build the world's first atomic bomb. Okay, so this is the statement that we are looking for basically. Okay, so let us, just a second friends. Okay, yeah, so let us move back to that particular question. Yeah, so Einstein had the impression that the Germans would, first one, bomb Hiroshima, no. Be successful in making the world's first atomic bomb. Yes, this particular option is right. Be unsuccessful in making the bomb, no. If he thought that they would be unsuccessful, then definitely he would not have recommended nuclear research. We have just now seen that in the passage. So this is wrong. Work for humanity, no ways, not connected at all. So our correct answer is second option. Okay. Yes, so we have seen that most of the questions are answered. Now let us move forward and see this particular sentence. First of all, the paradox, it's certain that nothing is certain in life, indicates what? So basically, if you look at this sentence here, this is a example of a sentence which contains paradox. Okay, now if you read the sentence, it is self-contradictory. Okay, in first part it says something, and the second part it negates the same thing. Okay, so now if you see this particular sentence, what do you analyze? Okay, what does it indicate about the writer? The first option says hatred for scientists, no way connected. Okay, it doesn't show any hatred for scientists. Analytical mind. Okay, so let us hold this thing. Scientific mind. So scientific mind means what? You're coming up with certain conclusions, you're talking about some laws, you are looking at a particular maybe situation from a scientist's perspective, okay, wherein you are analyzing the reasons for it. Okay, so there is a lot more to do. So scientific mind is not the correct option, friends. Persuasive nature. Okay, that means you are convincing someone. I don't think the sentence tells about the convincing nature of the writer. Now, what is it? The option that we are left with is analytical mind. So when I say analytical mind, I am actually in a situation where I can come out with certain points that no other people can come out with. I'm analyzing a particular situation well. So if you see, this is a very good statement which says that we are actually not having any certainty about our life. Okay, and that is one certainty. Okay, you get that point. So obviously we can conclude that a writer has an analytical mind from this particular statement. Okay, so now friends, 10th one is done, right? Okay, let us see. 8th one is done. Yes. 7th is done. Okay, 6th is done. Okay, no, 6th is not done. So Emmanuel's interest in dynamites influenced Alfred's inclination for working with what? Okay, so because Alfred's father was already involved with dynamites, so it pushed Alfred towards what? For humanity? No. So working with explosives, yes, we did see a sentence that he used to work with explosives. For the Nobel Prize, with contradiction, no. So this is a very clear answer. We missed upon this question when we were having a look at it. So this shows that this particular question did not stay in my mind specifically when I was referring to this. So this is an example, friends, that when you do not concentrate properly, you will definitely miss upon something. Okay, so 5th one. Okay, yeah. Working with arms and ammunition helped Alfred to amass what? So we had seen that particular word. In fact, I stressed upon that word 2 to 3 times about wealth. Okay, so yes, this particular question is solved. Okay, 4th question is solved, 3rd is solved, 2nd, 1st done. So we are left with only one question, friends. Let us move towards that. So the passage is what? So friends, these kind of questions you will definitely solve once you're done with the paragraph. Okay, now you need to be very calm, understand what it is saying. So first of all, argumentative essay. So what do you mean by argumentative? See, that means you are taking one particular side. Okay, there is a topic, for example, and you're arguing for a particular, say, advantage or a disadvantage. Okay, so you're taking sides first. You're talking about advantage, you're saying about disadvantage, and then you are giving your position on that particular topic. Okay, so obviously we are not discussing any arguments here, so this particular option is ruled out. Second is expository essay. Again, if you talk about expository essay, it actually comes out with a lot of detail and a lot of research on a particular topic. Okay, and then it concludes with a particular viewpoint. Okay, so again, expository essay is not talked about in this passage. It is not of that kind. Then a process essay. So when I say a process essay, I'm just writing something down in steps. Okay, for example, if I want to reach a university nearby, I am writing or I'm breaking down into proper steps. How do I reach my university? Okay, maybe I need to first talk about transportation, then I need to talk about the other whereabouts. Okay, so that is a complete procedure which you explain. So obviously this is not a process essay. So what it is? A descriptive essay. Yes, it is a descriptive essay because it is describing a particular topic in such a way that you start imagining that topic. So when I say descriptive, that means you are beautifully coming out with in-depth analysis of a particular situation, which actually gives you a feeling that you already know the person you're talking about in the passage. So that is what happened here. When the author is or when the writer is talking about Alfred Nobel, or when he's talking about Albert Einstein, he's beautifully coming out with all further reasoning, and he's making us feel that we know these people actually. Okay, so that much amount of description is there in this particular writer's edition. Okay, so obviously our answer is going to be the last one, that is descriptive essay. Friends, let me just tell you one thing about English. It is not always possible for us to know all the words in English. Here we need to try and play some tricks, friends, and that is why I take these real-time essays and I discuss it with you like this, and then I'm recording this in one take. Okay, let me just tell you that. So why I'm doing this is because genuinely I want to give you a feeling when you are sitting in the examination, what are the thought process that comes in your mind. Okay, for example, let me take this question that we were discussing out here about the passage is. So if you don't know what is argumentative essay, what you can do, see, you know the word argument, right? Obviously we come across this term. What is argument? That means you are countering on a particular topic with someone, right? So now just extrapolate this understanding, friends. So are we talking about two different viewpoints in this particular essay? No. So obviously this is not going to be an answer. Okay, similarly process essay. Yes, I can say that expository is a word which you might not be knowing, but still if you talk about expository and descriptive, you still need to go with descriptive because a very good description is given here. Okay, so friends, these are some of the tricks that I'm telling you so that you actually take these things to be easy. Okay, and don't think that reading comprehension is actually tough for us, right? I will be coming up with more essays, and let me tell you that comparing to the previous reading comprehensions, this was quite easy. Okay, and actually we could have scored 10 on 10 if we are very keenly solving this particular paragraph. And friends, if you really found this video useful, kindly like, subscribe and share. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have been really working hard, guys, and we want you guys to go and do well in the examination. Until then, friends, as I always keep telling you, keep practicing and keep revising. Thank you so much.